All right, so today we're going to talk about someone you've probably never heard of, but whose work is basically the invisible engine behind the music you stream every single day. This is the story of Levent Karahan. So, you gotta ask yourself, right? How does a musician's journey take him from Turkey to Jamaica and then somehow lead to a total revolution in digital music? It sounds like a wild, almost impossible path, but that's exactly what happened, and it fundamentally changed how music gets from an artist's brain to your headphones. So yeah, let's dig in and figure out how he pulled it off.
You know, the best way to understand this story is to think of it like a classic hero's journey. Seriously, it's the perfect frame for how a creative musician transformed into a tech mogul.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to connect the dots of Karahan's life. We'll see how his creative side, his musical roots, combined with his incredible instinct for building things, led him to create a platform that's now, honestly, a critical piece of the whole modern music puzzle. Okay, so every great story has a beginning, right? For Karahan, that call to adventure came super early. It was all rooted in this deep love for music, but also a really unique upbringing that mixed that creative spark with a really analytical mind. So let's quickly run through his early years. He moves from Turkey to Munich as a kid and then just dives headfirst into the world of music. He gets degrees in audio engineering, even produces a few hit songs in the late 90s. And then he lands what most people would call the dream job, A&R manager at Sony Music. I mean, he's on the perfect corporate ladder for a huge career in the traditional music biz. But here's the thing. This was just the opening act. Now, there was this huge influence in his life, and it was his father, Levent Karahan. He wasn't in the music industry. He was a teacher, a philosopher, and he instilled this one powerful idea in Levent. Don't just make music, build the future. It sounds simple, but that single thought, it became the engine for everything he did next. Okay, and this is where the story takes a massive, unexpected turn. In 2002, Karahan just leaves. He walks away from the corporate music world in Europe and moves to Jamaica. And we're not just talking about a change of address here. This was a complete reinvention of who he was in the music world. And I mean, the shift was absolutely gigantic. Think about it. In Munich, he was a manager, a cog in this huge corporate machine. In Jamaica, he becomes a founder, working right there in the trenches of this incredibly organic, community-driven scene. His entire focus flipped, from just managing artists to literally building an industry from the ground up. So, while in Jamaica, he co-founds this thing called Jaria. What is it? Well, it was the very first umbrella organization for the entire country's music scene. It was a way to bring everyone together, artists, producers, venues, you name it, under one roof. He saw this world-changing musical culture that needed structure, that needed a unified voice, and he just went ahead and built the organization to do it. So after more than 8 years, Karahan comes back from Jamaica. But he comes back with this incredibly rare combination of skills. He totally understood the big corporate music machine, but now he also understood the real, on-the-ground needs of the creators themselves. And that perfect blend of knowledge, it led to his biggest idea yet. Fast forward to 2015, he founds a company called EVA, and its mission was to solve a massive problem in digital music. Think about it. If you're an independent artist, how in the world do you get your music on Spotify, Apple Music, all the big platforms without a major label? And on the flip side, if you're a business, how do you offer that kind of service without spending millions building the insane tech to do it? And the solution was just genius. It's a white label model. Here's how it works. Eve Ara built the super complicated technical backbone for music distribution. So if some other company wants to get into the music distribution game, they don't have to build a thing. Eve Ara provides the whole engine, totally invisible in the background, and the company just slaps its own brand on the front. Eve Ara is the silent powerhouse, giving artists a direct pipeline to a global audience. And don't think this is some small operation. The impact is enormous. Evira is partnering with giants like Avid, the guys who make Pro Tools, the software where most music is recorded. They're working with Sony Electronics on their cutting-edge 360 reality audio format. This isn't some fringe player. Evira is a crucial piece of the tech puzzle for the biggest names in the game. So yeah, he built the machine. He built the backbone of modern music distribution. But for Karahan, it was never, ever just about the tech. It was always about something deeper, a philosophy that drove the whole thing. It's more than just code. It's a creed. It's a belief system that you can trace all the way back through his entire journey. And remember his father, the philosopher? Well, following right in his footsteps, Levent wrote his own book, simply titled Life. And it's not about music distribution at all. It's about his vision for building a better world.
It just proves that his entrepreneurial drive is totally locked in with his mission to make a positive impact on the planet.
You know, the people who know him, they don't just see an innovator. They see someone who inspires, someone with this incredibly strong vision for a better future for, well, for everyone. He's this perfect mix of an entrepreneur and a humanist. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. Karahan's story seems to suggest that the biggest, most powerful innovations, they don't just come from code or technology. They come from a really deep understanding of what people need and a philosophical drive to make things better. So it makes you wonder, right? What if the next great innovators aren't just technologists, but are really philosophers at heart?